Hey y'all, Matt here with Bobcat Bonsai, and we're on to part 2 of getting our bonsai Tanuki all set up. Well, at least the deadwood portion all set up. The bad thing is, I still haven't found the whips yet that I'm going to be using, so I got to figure that one out also. I have a bunch of black pine saplings. I think I might, I don't know, there's no branching or anything on them. Like they're not even a year old yet. They're about 9 months old at this point, so I don't know. But out in the barn, I've got my draw knife. I've got my wood clamped up inside the vise right now. And then all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna draw the bark off and get the pieces ready to be cut off. So let's get to it. Alright, so I'm not going to take you through this whole process with me, but all I'm basically going to do is just be coming in here, and a lot of the spark should come off good. So basically this whole end down here that we're seeing, let me get some good looking. So we see how this is a little bit more white. Probably not yet. Alright. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out a really good angle for you guys on this part, but this is not the easiest part to try to angle in just right. Oh, there we go again. Okay, that might be it right there. Alright, so basically this bottom part where it's wet, this is all going to have to get cut off all the way to here, and that's alright. That is alright with me. The rest of it has a nice white texture to it, and I'm kind of going to end up cheating here, and instead of using like a natural dead piece of wood, I am going to end up shaping this piece of wood into what I want it to be. But all I have to do here is just draw out the whole section. So let me get you in a different position to try to see this. But it looks like my draw knife is working as it should. So let me get one more turn in here. There we go. Now with this last turn, we are finishing up the whole draw part of this at least. Alright, so now, as we can see in here, we've got the wet wood down here. Don't want that. So we are going to end up cutting, I could have at least grabbed my pencil ahead of time, right? We're going to end up cutting all the way up and into here. Okay, so that's going to be where cut number 1's at. Then we have to figure as a mame, we really don't want this to be massive. So my picturing of it is more or less like the length of a finger here, right? So if I can get a finger's length out of it, which is roughly 2.5 inches, that is where I want each piece to be. So I'm just going to end up marking this out for probably 5 of these. That way I have backups just in case I mess one up and I'm trying to carve it. But I'm going to mark out 5 of these and get to work on getting those cut up. So I'll see you over at the saw. Alright, so we're now over at the saw here. If you look real closely, right there's our pencil line. Gonna turn on the laser, get the laser pulled over so it's lined up over top of our pencil line. So we got rid of the part we don't need. So I did do 5 pieces. This last little piece is going to be way smaller than everything else. And then we will find as we're going through to do this that the wood is going to move because it is not perfectly straight. And it's also important to remember that there is a guard up here, so when I'm reaching in here, my finger's actually not close to the blade like what it looks like. So we're at 3 as of right now. Here's number 4. And number 5. Alright, so now we got our 5 little pieces cut out here. The rest of it, it's mostly all going to be freehand, honestly. I try not to overthink it whenever I'm trying to do something artistically, because if I try to draw it out and then do it, like draw it out on this wood and then try to do it, it honestly becomes such a headache. It's really frustrating to try to do it. But look at that inside. That's really cool, isn't it? It is, except it's all really, really soft on the inside. So there's that to be concerned with a little bit, but we will hope for the best that that stays nice and solid and we run into no issues with it. But if we do, then we do, and I find a new way to work it. I guess the goal is not to go that deep. All right. Yeah, so basically at this point, all I'm going to end up doing is getting them. So I brought out the belt sander. It's going to be the easiest way to go about hitting this up. We'll go and we'll get the big taper down on all of these. And then once we do that, we'll go over to the Dremel, and that's when we'll start working on the fine detail. All right, so I'm going to get you set up just to show you real quick the angles that I'm going to hold it at as I'm doing a quick taper. Once we do the one, honestly, I'm going to just probably play something over top of it because nobody wants to listen to a sander. Also, I'm probably going to speed it up because it's going to take a little bit still. All right, let's get to it. Alright, so let's take a little look-see at this now. If you see, I kind of gave it a little bit of a curve and it's running in and then back out, right? So just a little bit of a curve there, just something cool I thought that it would look good with. The big thing now is going to be getting everything straightened out here for the rest of this. I know, it doesn't look too much like a tree at all at this point. But I think the important thing is that we get a good base going, and once we get that going, we should be able to get some nice branching and stuff to just roll up and through with the Tanuki itself. So my thought is it's going to almost be potted up like this, right? And then I'm actually going to bring the branch up through the curved side. Bring it through the curved side and then wrap it into the front is what I'm thinking about doing. I may bring it up almost from the side front, curve it, and then wrap it all the way from the vein all the way up and around the back. I'm not 100% certain yet. But now I just have to figure out how I'm going to run basically just the trunk structure itself. So, alright, so checking this out from the front now. We've got it, and the vein's going to wrap around the side, come up and up through the back. So because this is so soft on the inside, what I'm going to end up doing is running super glue and basically coating this whole section all through here. And what that's going to do is strengthen that section up and make it water resistant. But the key is it's going to strengthen that section up because that's what we need the most of. So we're going to get that, and then after that we'll start doing some design to try to give it like an older style look running up and down through here. Hopefully everything keeps going well like it is and we have no other issues with it. Alright, so we're into day 2 here. We got everything all shaped up. I used the belt sander, then I used the Dremel and went back and just routed out these little holes here. Funny thing, so when I shaped all of these, they kind of looked like little fingers, and I thought that was funny when I was doing it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I made a whole bunch of little fingers. But that's not what we're looking at here. So pretty much, I did 5 of them, so if I screwed up, then I can pick elsewhere. I'm going to end up taking sandpaper and smoothing this all out. I did get my finger a little bit, and then so there's blood on some of these, unfortunately. But whatever. Blood, sweat, and tears always makes things look better. So my thought is, everyone has a slightly different path. So normally you want to go from the side of it. So I was thinking this would almost be the front right in here. Then you'd have the vein run up, and then the vein actually runs up this side, up through the back, and then the tip of the tree is going to end up coming right off of here. Just kind of giving a little bit of movement with it. Then this one I brought from over here. So here's going to be the frontish. I don't know. On camera it doesn't look like near as much detail as what's actually in each one of these. But this one's going to come up around the side, spiral, 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 run up and come out the top there as well. Okay, so this one's crazy. Okay, so this is basically going to be the front right here. This one's going to run up around the side and spiral all the way around. Let's get back to the front. There's the front. To come back up the front right here. And that's how that one's going to sit. Then we've got this little guy. So this little one right here. This is mostly the front view for this one. Comes up the side here, wraps up, right up and through the top right there. Then there's this teeny tiny little guy, which I was thinking the front may end up being right in here if I use this one. We'll see. And that one's just a quick wrap, and it wraps up and grabs up onto the top there. So all this is really soft on the inside here, the red portion. So what I'm going to end up doing is actually putting super glue over that portion. And that will harden that part up a little bit as a top layer. So gives me a little bit less to worry about. As well as on the bottom, I'll put the super glue over top of all the red sections on the bottom, just to protect it longer. But I don't know. I'll see how this one looks. I'm kind of like really liking, if I had to pick right now, these three are it right here. For sure, 100,000%. These three. So we'll go with it. I'm gonna go with 1, 2, 3. These two will be backups just in case I need them for something. So let me find my torch, and then my lime sulfur, and the tar. Alright, I'll be right back with you. Alright, so I forgot we were doing the sanding part. So I'm just going to torch everything real quick just to get the fine hairs off, and then we'll sand it, and then we'll get to the rest of it, except for the torch one. The torch one, I'm just going to torch it all in one shot because that's remotely easier to do that. So this is going to be the torch one. So let's spin this hot little thing around real quick. Ooh. As you can see in the background over there, The other pieces are actually getting torched in the process of torching this. And now we just gotta get the bottom. That's gonna be actually kind of fun to get down through here. Alright. So this is nice and hot right now. I'm actually going to bring it in. There we go. I had to blow it out. I actually caught it all on fire. Alright, sorry about that. So I had to actually like catch it on fire. And that takes care of this one. So we'll do a little sand on that then. So this one we're just doing just a quick burn, basically to just get off any fine particles that are going to be on here. It'll help a little bit when we come time to sand this all off. So quick burn on that one. On this one. So pretty much wherever you get the dark char really quick, that is everywhere where you have a lot of fine material. That's just going to burn off. Alright, so we are done with the burning portion at least. Let me get you set back up here. Got my sandpaper. It's a 220 grit. So basically all I'm going to do, I'm going to grab this one over here. And all I'm really doing is just giving it a nice little rub down here. Just to get it all nice and smooth again. So I'm going to get these all sanded up and then I'll be back with you to do the last two treatments, which will be the lime sulfur and this is called pruning sealer, but it's a tar base, so we're going to use that. All right, I'll be right back with you. All right, so if you look real closely here, you can see like that glossy color. It's inside all of them and on the bases of all of them. That would be the super glue. I put that on a while so you didn't have to sit there and watch that. It's all dry across the bottoms. So all the bottoms are all nice and dry. You can see it gives it like that nice shiny wet look. Let's see. Focus on. Oh no! Sorry about that, I dropped you. But that's what we've got there. Okay, so basically at this point, all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab up my little pinchy pliers here. Pinchy pliers. And I'm going to flip this one upside down like so. Now the reason for doing that is because I'm going to coat up to about this hole right here. Let me get you in a better view. There we go. With tar. So basically, I am not very good at drawing around in a circle holding this thing, but this will be the section that's going to be under the ground. So because of that, that's what we want to cut with the, that's where we want to put the tar at. So we got our prune sealer here. Let's open this delicious stuff up. And it looks like I'm indoors, yes, but I'm actually out in my barn. So there is good ventilation out here. So no need to be concerned there. I'm just going to boop, boop. Oh yeah. Just coat it on here. And pretty much just all the way around, right along the base of it. Then we've got to make sure we get down and inside here. Then along the base over through here. And that's about it on this one. So now that one just sits. Love that smell, it's great. That one is just gonna sit there and wait for it to dry. Now I've got my lime sulfur. Actually, I'm gonna move this one back further because I don't want the lime sulfur near me. All right, get this all opened up. Oh geez, now I gotta get the seal off of it. Oh, I love it. It smells so fresh and delicious. All right, so I'm basically just gonna get a good old painting on here of it. All right, so we're just coating it all up, making sure this nice rotten egg is all over it. I'm really not a fan of sulfur, so, well, the smell of rotten eggs in general I'm not a fan of, so if there's another option than to do this, I will happily take that option and not do this anymore. Now we can't forget we do have to get the very bottom of this as well, so gonna get that, and then you'll see anywhere the super glue touched, it's really just gonna bead off of it. As well as, you should probably wear gloves when you're using this. Not that this makes it any better, but I was a mechanic for years and was so used to getting stuff on my hands that it doesn't really faze me anymore. But like I said, that doesn't make it any better. But that's why I'm not overly fazed by getting this stuff all over me. I'm just holding it in a plastic bag over here as I go and finish coating where my fingers were at. I'll come back over to it here in a second so that you can get a good see there. Oh yeah, instant dye on the fingers. So there that one is inside this little bag there. So we've got the tar, we've got the sulfur, we've got the burnt wood. I was talking to my buddy Andy and he recommended putting the sulfur on with the burnt wood, but I feel like for the purpose of this experiment, it's better to do it individually this time, and then in the future, maybe I will try another one where it's mix of burnt and the sulfur. But yeah, for the time being, now we just gotta let this stuff all wait and see what trees I can get. I'm still working that one, guys, and thinking about, oh my gosh, I love seeing my hair for the first time on the camera every time I flip on the hair. But I'm thinking about using black pines for it because I have a whole bunch of black pines, and I figured it would be a pretty cool idea to put the black pines in there. Now these are young saplings, so we're talking they're probably not going to fill in the gaps on this for, I don't know, maybe next year they'll get a huge growth or something. But as of this year, there's nothing else happening with them. I can get them locked into place and that's about it. After this week, it should be a good time to repot the black pines because it's not going to be super hot or anything. It'll be back to normal temperatures. Like I said, we're getting hit by a cold front, so we're going to drop down to like the 50s, 60s. So I have a few trees I need to get moved up to my deck, and then once I hit my deck, they'll be doing the shuffle. So during the day they'll go outside, at night they'll come in, day out, night in. All that fun shuffle till it finally gets so cold I can't do it anymore. So this will conclude part 2 of this video, getting the wood all prepped up and ready for They're potting, so part 3 will come once I figure out the whole tree scenario. All right, I appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed this content, give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy all my content, you should subscribe to my channel. And if you really enjoy my content, you should hit the bell notifications to get notified every time I release a new video. Thank you.